They whisper behind your back. They laugh when you speak. They think you're dumb because you don't shout, you don't argue, you don't fight back. But deep down, you know, and so does God. They roll their eyes, they make jokes, they think your silence is ignorance. But what they don't know is that your quiet is calculated, it's protection. They underestimate you, but God is building something in you that doesn't need validation. Your silence is not emptiness, it's sacred preparation. They think you're dumb. They assume you don't see what's happening. They whisper in corners, make their little jokes, roll their eyes like you're invisible. But here's what they don't understand. God often hides his strongest warriors behind quiet eyes and simple words. The world looks for shine, for noise, for surface-level strength. But God, he looks deeper. He sees what they overlook. He sees your heart, the fire you've been hiding, the wisdom you've been nurturing, and the strength you've been storing in silence. And that's where the power truly lives. You see, some people are loud because they're empty. They use noise to fill the space. They chase attention to feel important. But you've been learning to walk in silence not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough not to react. God has been training your hands for battle and your heart for patience. He's been setting you apart, not pushing you down. And those people who treat you like you're small, who mock you like you don't matter, they have no idea they're watching the quiet rise of someone called and chosen. Don't worry when they overlook you. That's part of the process. David was overlooked too. Remember? Even his father didn't invite him to the anointing. But God said, "Man looks at the outward appearance, but I look at the heart." In that shepherd boy, God saw a king. And in you, God sees something they'll never understand. So don't waste your breath trying to explain yourself to people too blind to see. There is a blessing in being underestimated. There is power in being overlooked. Because while they're mocking you, you're mastering your mission. While they're sleeping on you, heaven is setting your table. Your silence, it's not empty. It's holy. It's filled with preparation. And when your time comes, they won't understand how you rose so quickly, how you endured so much, how the one they called foolish walked away with favor. And it won't be because you were loud. It'll be because you were faithful. It won't be because you fought. It'll be because you fell on your knees. That kind of power, the world doesn't see it because they don't understand what it costs. But you do. You've paid in tears. You've invested in quiet nights. You've trusted when nothing made sense. You are growing in secret. You are healing in hidden places. You are rising while no one is watching. So let them laugh. Let them pretend. Let them whisper. It's okay. Because God is writing your story, and he knows exactly when to turn the page. You are not here to be accepted by them. You are here to be used by him. And when the time is right, your silence will speak louder than their mockery ever did. Because some of the most dangerous people in the world are those who listen more than they speak. They observe, they learn, they wait. And when the moment comes, they don't need to shout. Their results speak for them. That's what God is building in you. A life that doesn't need applause. A mission that doesn't need permission. A strength that doesn't beg for validation. That's why it feels lonely. That's why it feels like no one understands. Because he's not building you for the crowd. He's building you for the calling. And when you stand in the place they said you'd never reach, when your life begins to overflow with blessings they tried to block, you won't even need to say, "I told you so." You'll just keep walking. Because while they pretended you were dumb, God was making you wise. While they mocked you, God was measuring the distance between your grace and their pride. So stay low, stay humble, stay faithful. Let them talk. Let them assume. Because while they're pretending, heaven is preparing. And remember, God never wastes silence. The world hears nothing, but heaven hears everything. While they mistake your quiet for weakness, God is using it to strengthen your spirit and sharpen your vision. Jesus stood before Pilate, and Pilate, a man used to power, to control, asked him question after question. But Scripture says, he answered him not a word. Jesus didn't flinch. He didn't explain. He didn't try to defend. Because truth never argues with deception. Light never debates with darkness. It just shines. And truth, it just stands. That's what your silence is doing. It's standing when they expect you to fall. It's shining when they want you to shrink. It's showing strength that doesn't make a sound. There is power in stillness. There is wisdom in restraint. Because when people pretend you're dumb, they're not insulting you, they're exposing themselves. When they try to provoke you, to break your silence, to drag you into their chaos, don't take the bait. Silence isn't weakness. It's sacred. It's the space where your soul aligns with God's plan. It's the moment where God teaches you to trust Him more than your emotions, to lean on His truth more than your logic. Let them wonder what you're thinking. Let them be unsettled by your calm. Let them misinterpret your stillness. Because while they burn energy trying to define you, you're conserving yours for something greater. You're saving your words for the right moment. You're not moving out of impulse, you're moving with purpose. You don't have to be loud to be heard in heaven. You don't have to be seen to be held by God. So walk in silence. Not because you have nothing to say, but because what you carry is too valuable to waste on noise. Let your silence be your shield. Because in that stillness, God is still speaking. Every insult, every laugh, every whisper, none of it was wasted. The enemy wants you to think those moments were the end of you. But they weren't. They were fuel. Fuel for the fire God is igniting in you. Fuel for the rise He's already planned. But listen, there's a condition. You must not waste the pain. Don't turn it into bitterness. Don't let it harden you. Let it shape you. Let it elevate you. Because if you do, God will use those very moments to promote you. Rejection has a way of waking up your calling. Insults have a way of sharpening your vision. The people who laughed, who labeled you, who tried to crush you, they weren't destroying you. They were chiseling you. But if you had fought back in anger, if you had let their words poison your spirit, you would have missed the blessing and the breaking. Bitterness is a thief. It steals your clarity, your peace, your focus. It keeps replaying the hurt until you forget who you are. Don't let their cruelty become your identity. You are not what they called you. You are not the label they gave you. You are not the joke they told. You are who God says you are. And every insult? Just another sign you're rising. Because no one throws stones at what's behind them, only at what threatens what's ahead. So if you're being attacked, misunderstood, underestimated, it's because your presence threatens their comfort. Your calling disrupts their control. But here's the key. Carry the pain the right way. Surrender it. Lay it down. Don't let it make you bitter. Let it make you better. When you choose peace over pride, restraint over revenge, your pain becomes power. Your rejection becomes revelation. Your insult becomes instruction. And you start to see it. God wasn't punishing you, He was promoting you. Because this is a test. Every insult is a test. Will you lash out, or will you level up? Will you respond with vengeance, or will you rise with vision? If you let bitterness in, you slow your walk. You fight battles that don't belong to you. And God never called you to fight for validation. He called you to walk in grace, to bless those who curse you, to love those who hate you, not because they deserve it, but because you've outgrown the need to prove anything to them. That's real strength. That's what it means to walk in purpose. You could retaliate, but you choose peace. You could strike back, but you choose stillness. Not because you're weak, but because you've already won. And victory, it's not in what you say, it's in what you overcome. So let them talk, let them insult, let them try, because what they meant for evil, God is using for good. Just don't let bitterness take root. Don't keep feeding the memory. Don't carry the weight of their opinions. Carry the weight of God's calling. Walk forward, not with anger in your chest, but with fire in your soul, because they didn't break you, they built you. They pushed you out of comfort and into your calling. Let every insult be fuel. Let every whisper be a push. Let every eye roll remind you you're being refined. Stay grounded, stay focused, because often those who make the most noise are the ones with the least direction. But you're not here to win arguments. You're here to walk in purpose. They may think they're ahead. They may laugh behind closed doors, thinking you've got nothing going for you. But what they don't see is what God is doing in the silence. And friend, your silence is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of something powerful. It's the quiet before the rise, the pause before the breakthrough. And when it comes, those who mocked your stillness will be silenced, not by your words, but by your fruit. Because the more they talk, the more they reveal. Every whisper, every criticism, every assumption, they're not hurting you. They're exposing themselves. And sometimes, the greatest clarity God gives us is through the noise of others. Not everyone who smiles is sincere. Not everyone who praises you means it. So when God lets them talk, let them. That's your confirmation. That's your protection. Let them reveal their hearts while you quietly protect yours. Because while they're making noise, you're building something sacred. And when it's time when God says, now, your life will speak volumes, even if you never say a word. There's a rare kind of strength in this world, a quiet, focused kind. The kind that keeps showing up, keeps working, keeps trusting. That kind of strength doesn't need applause. It doesn't chase validation. It stays steady. It stays consistent. It walks in obedience even when no one's watching. And that's what makes you dangerous. Not your noise, but your discipline. Not your talk, but your persistence. Not your platform, but your purpose. People may laugh. They may say you're delusional. They may say you're wasting your time. But they don't see the fire. They don't see the hours in prayer, the tears you've cried, the faith you've sown. They don't hear the whispers God spoke in the quiet. And when the time is right, what you built in the dark will shine in the light. Not because you forced it, but because God lifted it. So don't rush to explain yourself. Don't broadcast every step. The more you speak, the more they can sabotage. But when you move in silence, there's a covering. And when you walk in private faithfulness, there's protection. Let them doubt. Let them dismiss. You've got something eternal to build. There is something sacred about working in silence. It's not just about avoiding the noise, it's about aligning with heaven. Because when you're quiet, you hear direction. When you're still, you feel His presence. And when you stop talking, you start listening. And listening to God will take you further than trying to impress man. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You're in training. And your silence is not a lack of progress, it's the foundation of something great. So keep showing up. Keep doing the work. And keep seeking Him in private, because when it's time, your life will speak so loudly no one will be able to ignore it. Not because you shouted, but because God made it undeniable. So don't get bitter. Don't get distracted. Just keep building. Keep trusting. And let your silence become the sound of your faith. There will come a moment when those who mocked you have nothing left to say. Not because you argued, but because you kept walking. You didn't waste your breath proving yourself. You let God do what only He could do. And when He did, it silenced every voice that spoke against you. That's the reward of the silent ones. That's the victory of those underestimated. They didn't break you, they pushed you. They looked past you, but God never did. And now, the very ones who counted you out have to witness the glory they can't deny. Not because you forced them, but because God's hand made it impossible to ignore. So don't waste this moment proving anyone wrong. Use it to glorify the one who lifted you. Let your rise be the reply. Because the truth is, what they thought was silence was faith. What they saw as weakness was trust. And now, what they mocked us, the miracle. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them see. Because when God speaks through your life, no one can silence it.